Hobo road, you carry me slow, nowhere to be and nowhere to go.
So welcome back, my pantry-plotting pilgrims of persistence, my ration-reckoning rebels of ruin, and my cardboard chefs of catastrophe. Hobo Yeti here, still gnawing on the edges of a big, beautiful bill that took effect September 1st, still waiting for the DHS letters that tell us we're not hungry enough unless we're clocking in somewhere. Here's the rub. A lot of us aren't working, not because we won't, but because we can't. Bodies broken down, minds frayed, circumstances stacked, yet the system acts like survival is a choice we're failing at. No new ladder's been lowered, no bridge built, just another trapdoor slammed shut. So if the food stamps dry up, we're left with one blunt truth: eat without them or don't eat at all. This isn't a sermon about the politics behind it. It's a map of how to live on less than less. If they've decided survival is a privilege reserved for the lucky few, fine. We'll show them survival is a stubborn skill, a dark art, and something you don't lose just because a system throws up another wall. 1. Pantry runs. Food pantries are survival's version of roulette. You don't know if you'll walk out with a sack of carrots, a box of dented soup cans, or a single loaf of bread that tastes like it time traveled from 2003. The first rule is rotation. Know the hours, the schedules, the little quirks of each location. Some reset weekly, others monthly, and if you're not paying attention, you'll waste time and energy trekking across town for a locked door. Think of it as musical chairs with beans instead of music. When it's your turn, sit fast, take what's there, and move on. The second rule is stash management. Those canned goods that taste like punishment. They're not meant to impress. They're meant to sit quietly until you need them most. Build a base, even if it looks like a bunker made out of lima beans. The third rule is pride control. Standing in line feels like being paraded, like your hunger is a crime on display. You've got to choke it down because dignity doesn't fill your gut. Every pantry run is a trade, your pride for your survival. In the long run, you'll forget the stairs, but you won't forget the calories. Don't be afraid to treat pantries like stations on a map. If one cuts you back to once a month, line up another to fill the gaps. Rotate, circle back, treat it like a circuit. Know what foods last, what you can cook quick, what can be combined. If all you've got is canned corn, stale bread, and powdered milk, guess what? That's still food. And when you walk away, don't just think about today. Think 2 weeks from now. Pantries aren't a solution. They're a rhythm, a beat you keep playing just to stay in the song. 2. Stretching cheap carbs. Potatoes, rice, and oatmeal, the unholy trinity of survival food. They're cheap, heavy, and unglamorous, but they'll keep you upright when everything else fails. A sack of potatoes might be the single best food investment you can make. Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew, fry them, bake them in foil over a campfire, or dice them into a skillet with whatever scraps you scrounge. Rice is the quiet hero. One bag can stretch pantry cans into feasts that would otherwise feel like punishment. Add a little seasoning packet from a ramen pack, and suddenly you've got a base meal instead of a sad slurry. Oatmeal, meanwhile, is survival glue. It's the breakfast that will stick with you through the morning, even if it tastes like sadness incarnate. The trick is rotation. Eat the potatoes too fast and you'll burn through the bag in days. Stretch them with rice. Use oatmeal to pad the gaps. Carbs fool you into thinking you're full, but if you binge, the sack empties too quick. Stretch them smart, portion them out, and rotate your meals so your body doesn't feel the crash. A spoon of rice tossed in with beans doubles the yield. Oats flavored with sugar packets from a fast food joint can turn into something bearable. Even pasta, if you can get it, works like a lifeline. Think of cheap carbs as the scaffolding you hang your survival on. Every spoonful is an hour of energy. Every bag is a week of stubbornness. Carbs aren't luxury. They're the fuel keeping you standing while the system waits for you to fall. 3. Alternative sources. If pantries and carbs aren't enough, you start scanning sideways. Churches often give out plates, sometimes steaming, sometimes cold, sometimes just a sandwich that tastes like the sermon was longer than the prep. But it's food, and it's often predictable if you know the schedules. Gas stations toss out food at closing, pizza slices, breakfast sandwiches, day-old donuts. They look bad, but survival doesn't demand freshness. It demands calories. Fishing sounds good on paper, but not everyone's a woodsman. You need line, hooks, patience, and water worth standing beside. Same with trapping small game. Without skills, it's just a fantasy. Alternative sources are a grab bag, community fridges, donation tables, end-of-day bakeries, soup kitchens. Each one comes with its own rules, schedules, and invisible costs. Sometimes it's the sideways looks, sometimes the hours of waiting, sometimes the fact you can only show your face once before being turned away, but alternatives exist, and piecing them together builds another layer of survival. Don't expect steak, expect scraps. Don't expect steady meals, expect calories strung together with hope. Pride tells you to pass, but hunger says bend. The truth is ugly. Survival isn't built on choice. It's built on compromise. If that means eating chili from a styrofoam bowl in a church basement, you eat. If that means asking the gas station clerk for a bag before they toss it, you ask. Survival isn't about image. It's about making it one more night without going under. 4. Cooking with next to nothing. Cooking with nothing isn't really nothing. It's scraps, filler, and creativity stitched together with stubbornness. Rice-a-roni, oil, and a pot can make a day's meal. Slice potatoes thin, toss them in a skillet, maybe drop a sliver of bacon or onion if you've got it, and suddenly you've tricked yourself into something hearty. Oatmeal can be flavored with whatever you've got, cinnamon from an old packet, a spoonful of peanut butter, even crushed up cereal if that's all there is. Cans from pantries become stews, 1 can of beans, 1 can of tomatoes, a pinch of rice, and you're eating soup with dignity intact. The real art is in disguise. You're not eating scraps, you're eating hobo hash. You're not heating water, you're making hobo broth. Call it whatever makes you laugh, because laughter carries you as much as calories do. Bread fried in oil becomes campfire toast. Ramen cooked with canned veggies becomes hobo stir fry. A tortilla with peanut butter and sugar is a hobo crepe. Every little trick turns the shame of scarcity into the joke of survival. Cooking with next to nothing is not just filling your stomach. It's proving to yourself you're still in charge. You're still the one writing the recipe, no matter how thin the ingredients. And that's the survival skill most people forget, stubbornness seasoned with imagination. So here's where we stand. Letters in the mail, systems that don't bend, rules that don't fit. It's clear nobody's designing survival for us. They're designing obstacles. They make it hard, maybe hoping we'll quit. But if they think that makes us vanish, they've miscalculated. We know how to rotate pantries like outposts, stretch carbs like rubber bands, scrounge alternatives when the cupboard is bare, and make a feast out of the scraps no one else wants. Survivors adapt. Survivors endure. That's the part they forget. This isn't about thriving, it's about refusing to disappear. They push, we push back. They starve the system, not us. We've been living on less for so long that less is just another Tuesday. I hope your road is a good one, and if you're homeless, I hope it doesn't suck for you. And remember, you can't starve a survivor, you can only piss him off. Peace.